Hare Krishna Vrinda Gopika Mataji Dandavas Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our Guru Maharajas, and all glories to assembled devotees here. This is Nina from Naperville, Chicago.
Hare Krishna Nina Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhargavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Tiffany Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call.
Hare Krishna Bhargavi Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Rala.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Bhargavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, is there anyone who would like to introduce on the call?
Hare Krishna Bhargavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranams to you and all the assembled devotees.
Okay, I welcome all of you once again to Bhakti Sangha conference call. And today we are really fortunate. Yes, Mataji. Today we are really fortunate to have, sir. Okay. I welcome all of you once again. His Grace Govardhan Giri Prabhu from Canto 5, Chapter 3 and verse 16 onwards. Before that, I would like to hand over the call to Tiffany Mataji to give a small introduction about the Prabhuji. Mataji, you can please take over the call.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. His Grace Govardhan Giri Prabhuji joined ISKCON in 1994 in Krishna Katadesh, the Middle East. He speaks English, Hindi, Malayalam, and Tamil, and has served devotees in Krishna Katadesh who speak these languages through classes and training. He was chiefly instrumental in developing Malayalam, please forgive me if I mispronounce that, preaching in Krishna Katadesh, where he served from 1994 until 2008. Today, the Malayalam speaking congregation there is very huge. Many of those devotees come back to Kerala and started preaching or new preaching endeavors there. He has also been a servant of BBT and has served in the team that published the Srimad Bhagavatam in Malayalam and has assisted in translation of Nectar of Devotion and is currently serving the team that is working on translating the Chaitanya Charitamrita. His principal service also includes serving as the chief editor of Bhagavad Darshanam, the Malayalam BTG, since its inception in 2010. He is also serving as a member of the Kerala Management Council, which assists the GBC regional secretaries. He still trains devotees in Krishna Katadesh through electronic media, which includes weekly sessions of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter-wise overview, and Srimad Bhagavatam chapter-wise overview, and Malayalam and Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita overview in English. During the lockdown, he conducted an online Bhagavad Gita course for beginners, which was attended by over 1,000 newcomers. He continues to conduct follow-up classes for these newcomers online. He is currently stationed in Trivandrum and actively engages in various local preaching programs, as well as programs throughout the state of Kerala. Hare Krishna, Bhargavi Mataji, please take over.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the brief introduction. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for giving a valuable time and association today in this Bhakti Sangha conference call to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now you can please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krityanaram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudire Tanashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Mande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshat Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today I've been asked to read from the 5th canto, chapter 3, and reading from shlokas 18, 19, and 20. And that is what I've been given to read from. So this shloka number 18 is like a prose. Tata Agnidhriye Amsha Kalayavataryashyami Atmatulyam Anupalambhamanaha. Translation. Since I cannot find anyone equal to me, I shall personally expand myself into a plenary portion and thus advent myself in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaja Nabhi, the son of Agnidra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is an example of the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is one without a second, he expands himself by Swamsha, his personal expansion, and sometimes by Vibhinnamsha, or his separated expansion. Lord Vishnu herein agrees to send his personal expansion as the son of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaja Nabhi, who is the son of Agnidra. The Ritvija, the priests, knew that God is one, yet they prayed for the Supreme Lord to become the son of Maharaja Nabhi, to let the world know that the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is one without a second. When he incarnates, he expands himself in different potencies. Om Tat Sat, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanjana Shalakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So this is continuing from the reading where the Lord becomes very pleased by the penance and the tapasya done by Maharaja Nabhi and his wife Meru Devi. And their prayers have been successful in the sense that they prayed Maharaja Nabhi and Meru Devi. Their prayer was primarily to have someone like the Lord appear as their son. Someone like the Lord should appear as my son. This was the prayer. So prayers, as we know, are very, very potent. And we are taught by our acharyas that our prayers should always be in line with or following the of prayers made by great personalities. Because even to say a proper prayer to the Supreme Lord, it takes some training, some understanding, some intelligence, etc., etc. So here, these two great personalities, King Nabhi and Meru Devi, their prayer is also very significant. That very intelligently they asked that someone like you should become our son. And in answer, the Lord here, he's saying that since I cannot find anyone equal to me, I shall personally expand myself. So here, the Lord himself is establishing that fundamental truth that there is no one equal to him. This is what is indicated by the Upanishadic usage of the word asamordhva. The Supreme Lord is referred to as asamordhva in the Upanishads. It is asama urdhva. That means nobody equal to or above. Asama, sama means equal, urdhva means above. That is, there is nobody equal to the Lord, nobody above the Lord. Asama urdhva, asamordhva. This is a usage we will find in the Upanishads. So this asamordhva principle, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, no one is equal to him, no one is greater than him. And this principle is what gets established throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam also, in terms of explaining the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we will find that not only in Sanatana Dharma, even in the Old Testament, the word Jehovah also means that one God. That one supreme God. And even in Islam, the same thing. La ilaha illallah. That means there is only one God, there is no other God. So the principle is applied equally when it comes to the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in saying that there is no one equal to him. So whenever the Lord has to do something to please his devotees, he has to come himself. Always he has to come himself, either as he himself fully as Swamsha, Swayam Prakasha, or as Vibhinnamsha. All these tattvas are explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatan Goswami in the Sanatan Shiksha portion of the 19th chapter of Madhya Leela in Chaitanya Charitamrita. How the Lord appears, how he appears as Swayam Prakasha, Swamsha, Vibhinnamsha, Vaibhava Prakasha, Prabhava Prakasha, all these various types of expansions of this singular Supreme Personality. And this type of prayer, that is where we were beginning with, that the prayer of Nabhi and Merudevi. So the importance of having the right prayer. It is very, very important that we are first trained properly by devotees in how to offer prayer. Otherwise, we will end up like that beggar. There is this story in Tamil, that there was this beggar, and one day the Lord became very pleased with this beggar, and he appeared in front of him and asked him, "What do you want? I am pleased with you. I am here to give you a benediction." So the beggar is asking, "Are you God?" So he says, "Yes. You can give me anything you want, anything I want, anything I ask, you can give me." So the Lord says, "Yes, I can give you." And so very intelligently, the beggar will say, "See, currently my begging bowl is very broken, very old. Now that you are God and you are very pleased with me, can you please give me a begging bowl made out of gold?" So this is the normal intelligence level of the conditioned soul. If we are given an opportunity to ask for what we want, this is probably how we will ask. Something, the beggar wanted something that, visibly improved his situation, which is what? To have a golden begging bowl. But he was so unintelligent that he could not think or he could not understand that the Lord can take away that whole situation of his being, him being a beggar. Living entity does not know the power of prayer. That what we want to request the Lord. So that is why Krishna speaks about such people as Maya, Apahrata Jnana, Prapadyante. So people sometimes, because of their material compulsions, because of intelligence being stolen away by Maya, they ask very, very insignificant things. But look at King Nabhi and his wife. They were very intelligent. So they know that if they ask that we want someone like you to be our son, then the Lord will become their son, because there is nobody else like the Lord. That is why whenever we have to give any example, Krishna is like this or Krishna is like that, it becomes very, very difficult. Because in the material world, there's nothing that can compare to Krishna. In the material world, there's nothing that can compare itself to Krishna. Because Krishna says that anything that you see, Adyad Vibhuti Mat Sarvam, whatever you see as, very resplendent in this material world, it is Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhavam. It is simply, just a minute particle of my Teja. So nothing in the material world can compare to Krishna. So great devotees, their prayers would be in line with what Krishna can give. Of course, Krishna can give everything. So we are taught by the acharyas that if at all we want to chant prayers, we should choose prayers spoken by great devotees like Kunti's prayers, Gajendra's prayers, Prahlada's glorification, Lord Shiva's prayers, Bhishmadev glorifying Krishna at the end of his life. So these are the things that we have to take from the Srimad Bhagavatam. as our prayers. And then Krishna becomes very pleased. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the priests knew that God is one, yet they prayed for the Supreme Lord to become the son of Maharaja Nabi, to let the world know that the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is one without a second. So, Prabhupada used to say this, that everyone is looking for God, and they don't know, and nobody is able to show them. But we are saying, here is God, and this is what he does. Prabhupada also used to say that other people, at the most, they say there is God, or God is supreme. But here, we, from the Srimad Bhagavatam and from the Vedic literature, we are able to find out, understand and study the nature of that God, what God does, what and what he can do, what are his, unlimited abilities. And that actually helps us to glorify the Lord more. There is so much of subject matter that we can utilize to glorify the Supreme Lord. And therefore, these personalities pray for the Lord to appear so that other people can take inspiration. That although the Lord is Aja, although the Lord is unborn, he chooses to appear as the son of so-and-so. And we see so many of such repeated happenings throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam and the other Puranas. We see how the Lord very mercifully chooses to act as the son of so-and-so. He very mercifully chooses these great devotees to be his father, to be his mother, to be his brother, to be his sister, to be his friends, to be his girlfriends. So to this extent, we are able to see, practically through the eyes of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are able to see the unlimited mercy of that Supreme Lord who has no equal, who has no one above him. But still, because of his Bhakta Vatsalya, the Lord chooses to be someone's son, to be somebody's younger brother, to be somebody's nephew, to be somebody's husband. So this is actually seeing the Lord, the Supreme Lord, in all his glory, as we say. Otherwise, we only have a limited understanding that all glories be to Lord. What are those glories? So every time the Lord appears or chooses to appear, we can understand that it is yet another manifestation of the mercy of the Lord. Every time the Lord engages in a Leela wherein he becomes somebody's son, that is yet another manifestation of his causeless mercy. And it is not just that the Lord is showing causeless mercy to King Nabhi and Meru Devi alone. It inspires every student of the Srimad Bhagavatam. That see how merciful my Lord is. That he chooses. So The Lord's mercy is unlimited, just like everything about the Lord is unlimited. His mercy is also unlimited. But we must become intelligent enough to be the recipient of that mercy. Mercy is already there. Just we need to become a little bit, as we say, switched on, We need to become a little bit switched on and make sure that we are not asking for the golden begging bowl. The golden begging bowl may give some temporary titillation. Oh, now I have got the golden bowl, But at the end of the day, you are still a beggar. What's the big deal? So prayer, very, very important. What prayer, how we pray, also very, very important. And prayer, when it is done with sincerity, it is always answered by the Lord. The Lord becomes very pleased by the austerity, the tapasya that the living entity does for the Lord's sake, for the Lord's pleasure. Lord, in his first conversation with Brahma, that the word tapi came from me, that was my instruction to you. And by doing that, you have pleased me. And because of your austerities, having pleased me, now I have invited you to Vaikuntha so that you can see. So the austerity that we perform, Srila Prabhupada says that the austerity that we perform in Kali Yuga is in one way simply trying to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. That itself is a great austerity for us. We don't have great capacity for austerity. So for us, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is our austerity. Observing the 4 regulative principles is our austerity. Observing fasting on important days, that is our austerity. But any austerity that is undertaken for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna will ultimately please the Supreme Lord. And when the Lord is pleased, like how he was pleased with Brahma's austerity, with all the tapasya, then Brahma got darshan of Vaikuntha. So when the Lord is pleased with our austerity, we shall also get the highest benediction that is there to be got. Continuing on to the 19th shloka of the chapter. That is again a prose, so I will directly read the translation. Shukdev Goswami continued, after saying this, the Lord disappeared. The wife of King Nabhi, Queen Meru Devi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently, she could hear everything the Supreme Lord had spoken. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to the Vedic injunctions, one should perform sacrifices in the company of one's own wife. Sapatni ko dharmam acharet. Religious rituals should be performed with one's wife. Therefore, Maharaja Nabhi conducted his great sacrifice with his wife by his side. So this is another wonderful instruction that we get from Srila Prabhupada's purport. How important it is for Grihastha Ashramis to work as a team. So in Sanatana Dharma, the wife is called Dharma Patni. She is not simply called Patni. She is always referred to as Dharma Patni. That means the wife is always the right hand of the husband when it comes to the performance of dharma. And there is also injunction that any dana that a husband wants to perform, anything in charity he wants to give, any such kind of dharma that he wants to do, he should always take his wife's opinion as well. And together only any kind of dharma a grihastha is supposed to do. So here Shukdev Goswami says that she also heard everything that the Supreme Lord had spoken. So not that together they did all the yajna and then Supreme Lord came and spoke secretly only to King Nabhi, and Meru Devi, she was just sitting, blinking away too. Not like that. Not at all like that. The Dharma Patni in Sanatana Dharma, she plays a very, very important role in ensuring that the Pati is doing his dharma properly. She also has a role in that. And also making sure that he is comfortably situated to perform his dharma. And vice versa. The Pati is also expected to ensure that the wife is able to perform her duties comfortably. And therefore, together, sapatni ko dharma macharit. Everything in any yajna that they do in grihasthashrama, and whenever they are giving the dakshina to the brahmana, in everything you will find that unless the patni pours that one drop of water, it does not become complete. You cannot give anything to anybody without the dharma patni. That means the dharma patni has dharma. The wife has a very, very important role to play. And you will find that the greatest example of how a dharma patni behaves in Vamana Dev's Leela. When Vamana Dev is asking Bali for 3 steps of land, and Shukracharya tells Bali that don't give. This is not whom you think it is. He will take everything away from you. You are now the king of the 3 worlds. In seconds, you are going to become a slave. But we will see that Bali, in spite of Shukracharya's advice, decides to complete the dana process. And in full agreement with Bali, his wife will pour that drop of water to complete that dharma. So, best example of a dharma patni. Because when Bali is the king of the emperor of the 3 worlds, she is the empress of the 3 worlds. So just as much as Bali is aware of the fact that he will lose everything and still he doesn't mind, look at her. She is equally as good as Bali. She doesn't mind either. If she doesn't pour that one drop of water, this thing will not happen. She knows it as much as anybody else. That doesn't stop her at all. Perfect example of what a dharma patni is. Because she knew that what her husband is about to perform is much more glorious than holding on to the rule of the three worlds. You see? So we see that Meru Devi here, she is as elevated as King Nabhi himself. She is spiritually that much matured. That is how the Lord chooses. It is not that, what should we say? It is only because of the pious credits of King Nabhi that this whole benediction they are getting. No. It is because together, as husband and wife, because they are doing it together, it pleases the Lord. So in Grihasthashrama, generally, it is always very important for us to remember that there should be encouragement mutually. And when anything is performed as a team, for the Grihastha especially, it is very pleasing to the Lord. And there is no thought of, I am better or you are better. In Kali Yuga, especially, everyone is as fallen as the other. So in Grihasthashrama especially, we should keep this in mind. That whenever dharma macharet, whenever some dharmacharana is there, Patni should always have a role in that. She should always be given a role. And it is not that the Pati, the husband, is doing her a favor by giving her a role in that. Not at all. It is enjoined in the Shastras that she has a role. It is not that we are doing some great benediction. We are giving some great benediction to the wife by let her becoming a part of the yajna process. No. It is there. It is enjoined in the Shastra. So that is how it was done. And very specifically, Prabhupada says that because this is also very important for a Grihastha to note that everything that is done with the cooperation of the wife. So when we say this, it is also very important to know that the wife should not, or the husband should not create some impediment in the dharma that the other is going to perform. Because that can be very disastrous. That the husband wants to do a nice dharmic activity, but the wife stops. Or the wife wants to do some dharmic activity and the husband stops. That actually is a failure of Grihasthashrama. So we should never allow Grihasthashrama to fail. And we all understand in Kali Yuga, as it is, the situation is very vitiated. It is very difficult. We all speak about Trinatapi Sunichena Tarori Vasahishnuna. We are supposed to be humbler than the blade of grass. We are supposed to be more tolerant than the tree. And we probably chant this every day, the Sikshashtakam prayers in the morning, just to remember, But very easy to chant, very easy to remember, very easy to chant it every day also, but very, very challenging to maintain on a day in, day out basis in our lives. So, and in those challenging times, we should take shelter of these instructions of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the instructions of Srila Prabhupada through his purports of the Srimad Bhagavatam, to remind us time and again that what our role is as a grihastha. Because generally the impression is that grihasthas are a cursed lot, there is nothing that can be done. But today morning, incidentally, I was reading a letter written by Srila Prabhupada to Rupanuga Prabhu, I think. So he writes that I am very happy that you are, doing things very nicely with your wife. And then he says that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was also a grihastha. And he was so elevated that, I'm just paraphrasing, these are not exact words. Prabhupada writes in that letter that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, although he was a grihastha, he was so much better that he was better than 10 sannyasis like me. Prabhupada compares himself. He says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is much more than 10 sannyasis like Prabhupada. So being situated properly in Krishna consciousness is actually irrespective of varna and ashrama. Being situated properly in Krishna consciousness is actually irrespective of varna and ashrama. At the end of the day, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramanandra, eight to bakiya, aage kahe aar. These are all external things. But while we are in that, the box of being a grihastha, a husband living with a wife, we must understand what works and what does not work. And make sure that we always try and do what works and try and avoid what doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, it is a teamwork. It is a teamwork, and if it is done together, like Lord said here to Nabhi Maharaj and Meru Devi, then that will please the Lord. It is also like one Maharaj said, Grihasthasrama is also one place where you actually learn how to be more tolerant than a tree. So we can learn in whatever ashrama one is situated, in whatever situation one is situated in life, one can learn how to become more Krishna conscious out of each and every one of those situations faced. Out of every situation that we face in life, we can take a lesson how to become more Krishna conscious. It's only that we need to look at things in that right perspective. And what is a lesson and what is not, what is to be done, what is not to be done. So for grihasthas, very, very important to have a mutually cooperative, mutually
No sound.
Yeah, I think Prabhuji has a poor connection. I think Prabhuji's internet is not. Yes, Mataji. Let me call him. He's joining again, Mataji. Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Lalitangi Mataji. What happened?
Yeah,
Prabhuji's power itself is gone. So
I'll
I
try to call Mataji.
will be able to what? Hare Krishna.
I think Lalitangi Mataji said that she would try to call him.
Yeah, she can call him. Yeah, he was right in the middle and he lost the power. It happens in India. No, cannot tell.
Mataji is joining back.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry about that. I hope I don't get disconnected again. Anyway, continuing from where we left off. So, King Nabhi and King Merudevi were equally blessed by the Supreme Lord. That is because they were the ideal husband and wife. So, continuing on to the 20th sloka of the chapter, Sukha Goswami is telling, O Vishnu Datta, Parikshit Maharaj, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was pleased by the great sages at that sacrifice. Consequently, the Lord decided to personally exhibit the method of executing religious principles as observed by the brahmacharis, sannyasis, vanaprasthas, and grihasthas engaged in rituals, and also satisfy Maharaja Nabhi's desire. Consequently, he appeared as son of Merudevi in his original spiritual form, which is above the modes of material nature. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When the Supreme Lord appears or descends as an incarnation within this material world, he does not have a body made of the three modes of material nature, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Mayavadi philosophers say that the impersonal God appears in this material world by accepting a body in the Sattva Guna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states that the word Shukla means consisting of Shuddha Sattva. Lord Vishnu descends in a Shuddha Sattva form. Shuddha Sattva refers to Sattva Guna, which is never contaminated. In this material world, even the mode of goodness, Sattva Guna, is contaminated by tinges of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. When Sattva Guna is never contaminated by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, it is called Shuddha Sattva. Sattvam Shuddham Vasudeva Shabdi. That is the platform of Vasudeva, whereby the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, can be experienced. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna himself says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata vibhanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at time I dissent myself. Unlike ordinary living entities, the Supreme Lord is not forced by modes of material nature to appear. He appears dharma shayitu kama, to show how to execute the function of human being. Dharma is human beings and never used in connection with beings inferior to human beings, such as animals. Unfortunately, without being guided by the Supreme Lord, Human beings sometimes manufacture a process of dharma by concoction. And dharma cannot be made by man. Dharma tu saksha bhagavat pranita. Dharma is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as it is given by the state government. Man-made dharma has no meaning. Srimad Bhagavatam refers to man-made dharma as kaitava dharma, cheating religion. The Supreme Lord sends an avatara, incarnation, to teach human society the proper way to execute religious principles. Such religious principles are bhakti marga. As the Supreme Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. The son of Maharaja Nabhi, Rishabdev, appeared on this earth to preach the principles of religion. This will be explained in the 5th chapter of this 5th canto. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Rishabdeva's appearance in the womb of male Devi, the wife of King Nabhi. Hare Krishna. So, finally, the Lord decides to personally exhibit the method of executing religious principles and also satisfy Maharaja Nabhi's desire. So, whenever the Lord appears, he has many things to do. And in one appearance, he will take care of all those things. This is how the Lord always does things. We will see, like here, Shukdev Goswami says that he wanted to exhibit the method of executing religious principles and also satisfy Maharaja Nabhi's desires. So, on one side, he wants to make Nabhi Maharaj happy that I have given you the benediction. And the Lord doesn't stop at that. Then he talks out the other facet of his avatara, which is the, like we say, the uddeshya. Like we say, what is the aim of that avatar? You know, and as I said, the Lord's avatars are always with multifarious aims. It is not just that he will appear only for one thing. Yes, there are some appearances of the Lord which we know the Lord will just come, do one thing and go. But most of the avatars, the Lord will do multitude of things. And Prabhupada explains in the purport that whenever we see the Lord appearing in the material world, we should never consider it to be a regular material happening. Whenever the Lord appears, he always appears only in his transcendental form, which is beyond the three modes of material nature. That is why he is called Vishuddha Sattva. That Sattva which is not contaminated by anything material at all. So, remember that the Lord's appearance is never material, it's always transcendent. Why this type of remembrance is very important is because we should know when an avatara of the Lord happens, and many things happen during that avatara's time, you know, sometimes we may wonder, how could the Lord do this? Or how could the Lord, why did the Lord not do this? Why did the Lord do this? So immediately we must understand that is our materially conditioned intelligence at work, trying to pull the Lord down to a material platform. So when we always remain in that consciousness that everything that happens, everything that the Lord does in his avatar, he always maintains his transcendental nature. If we always remember this, if we always maintain this understanding, it becomes easier for us to understand why the Lord does what he does. So the Lord descending is always in his transcendental nature. And the primary lakshya, the primary aim of all avatars are to please the devotee only. And that pleasing the devotee can manifest in very, very different ways. So sometimes what looks to us like something not so, that would be enjoyable for some devotee. Like when Krishna appeared as himself, Swayam Bhagavan. So we find that the Kurukshetra war is like the most ghastly part of the Lord's all his leelas. But looking at the Lord in that battlefield, Bhishma Deva was feeling transcendental bliss. You see. So we understand that everything that the Lord does in his avatara is for the pleasure of the devotee. But the manifestation of that would differ from devotee to devotee. How I see it, how a great devotee sees it is always different. But rest assured that the Lord's aim is to please the devotee, and whenever, in whatever form God appears and whatever he appears to do, as we go on reading Rishabha's Charitra, we would again we may get this doubt as to why the Lord, after all, is an incarnation, Rishabhadev, and why did he do this or why did he not do this? So that time we should remember that it's always Shuddha Sattva, and everything that he does is always transcendental, and the Lord never loses his transcendental nature. That is why he is called Achyuta. He doesn't have that tendency for falling down, whereas we all have that tendency to always fall, and we are currently fallen. The Lord does not. And the Lord enunciates dharma, teaches how to practice dharma, and establishes dharma. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. It actually ultimately means that what the Lord says is dharma. Why? Because he is Swarat. He is supremely, ultimately independent. And he knows better than anybody else as to what is dharma. Whatever little understanding that the highest Pandit, the greatest of Pandit has about dharma is from where? The source of his understanding of dharma, his dharmic knowledge is from the Lord only. So we must always remember that dharma means as laid down by the Lord. Dharma is not something that is convenient for me, that is dharma. Something that is not very convenient for me, that dharma I need not do. None of these considerations are correct. That is why Prabhupada says that this man-made dharma being called Kaitava dharma in the Srimad Bhagavatam is most appropriate. Because every day a new God is manufacturing a new dharma, in Kali especially. So it is very, very challenging. It is very, very confusing for the normal human being to understand whether I should do this, whether I should do that. But for the students of Srimad Bhagavatam, for the followers of Srimad Bhagavatam, there need not be any confusion whatsoever. To that extent, every student of the Srimad Bhagavatam, studying it under the bona fide parampara system, he is safe because he can get the proper understanding of what is dharma and what is not dharma. There is no need to doubt when the Lord enunciates something as dharma. Because we must understand that the Lord in his unlimited intelligence has established these things. Our problem or the requirement for clarification and seeming contradictions, that's all coming out of our imperfect understanding or incomplete understanding. You know, when our understanding is not complete, we would always have doubt. And it is not wrong to have doubt. But it will be wrong to clarify our doubts by using our own mind and intelligence. It is always better whenever we have a doubt on these kind of subject matters, we always refer back to somebody, you know, who is more experienced, more intelligent in terms of spiritual knowledge. So we can always approach and we can get the doubt clarified so that we can practice this bhakti yoga very nicely. Because at the end of the day, our aim is to become a better practitioner of bhakti yoga and eventually please Lord Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. So our dharma is meant for that. Our giving up of all other dharmas is also meant for that. That means give up all those other dharmas that you were engaged in, because those dharmas at that point in time was necessary for you or was good for you. But then ultimately, the only dharma is to please the Supreme Lord, and that is the ultimate dharma. So whenever we see an example of somebody who has performed that ultimate dharma, we will also see that they have got the ultimate benefit. But if there is a doubt, and because of that doubt, we hesitate, then the loss is only ours. You know, that famous happening in the Mahabharata when Ashwatthama had to be killed. Drona would not believe that Ashwatthama can be killed because Ashwatthama cannot be killed. Drona knows it. So then Krishna is giving that duty to Yudhishthira. You know, Krishna gave that duty to Yudhishthira. He said that Drona will believe only you because you are Dharmaraj. Drona would believe you because you won't speak a lie. So you go and tell him that Ashwatthama, the elephant, you know, you softly spell the elephant and you just tell Ashwatthama, elephant you say in your mind and say is dead. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, for a moment he hesitated, you know. For a moment, Yudhishthira Maharaj hesitated because he thought that, you know, I am a follower of Dharma. And now this Krishna is asking me to break my Dharma. For one moment, he thought like that. But then he reconciled himself with the fact that if I have to win this war and make right all the done, then I have to do this. So that is how after that initial mental hesitation, tell Dronacharya that what that is fleeting visit of Narakaloka with Yudhishthira Maharaj. Because many people have this understanding or misunderstanding that because Yudhishthira Maharaj told one lie in his life, he had to go and see Narakaloka on his way back. But it's not that. The actual fact is that it was because he hesitated in executing that ultimate dharma. Execute the instructions given by Krishna. That is the ultimate dharma. So we must always remember that ultimate dharma, what the Lord gives. And we must know that the Lord always incarnates in order to re-establish dharma. And that dharma, which is not Kaitava, but that dharma which is Parama dharma. And that dharma, most dharma is that activity which pleases the Supreme Lord. That is instructed by the Supreme Lord. So by simply engaging ourselves by body, mind, and words, we can actually please the Supreme Lord. We can actually be the highest or the best performers of dharma as grihasthas, as brahmacharis, as vanaprasthis, as sannyasis. Whatever the ashrama consideration may be, we can always act in this way to please Krishna, simply by following the instructions. And with the full understanding that the instructions are there for our benefit. It is not for Krishna's benefit. Krishna is not benefiting by instructing us in any way. Krishna is already, he is full, he is complete, he is totally happy. He has got Tripad Vibhuti is already there with him. And all of them are already enjoying transcendental bliss. And he is also fully engaged in enjoying transcendental pastimes with his pure devotees. So this entire dharma process that Krishna lays down as per time, place, and circumstance is for the benefit of the jiva only. And we have to understand that this is my ultimate benefit. This is for my ultimate benefit. And therefore, I should become intelligent enough to choose that which is ultimately beneficial to me. To that extent, we must be able to exercise our intelligence. As we know that because in Kali Yuga we are all mandaha sumandamatayoho. Already we are very slow in our intelligence. We are very poor when it comes to our intelligence. But still, we need to have just that much intelligence to choose, yes, this is for my ultimate benefit, so I shall execute this. So this is, as far as we are concerned, this is our penance, this is our austerity, this is our dharma. And that dharma is very easily performed in Kali Yuga through the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave us this easiest method, the most direct method. And as we are coming closer to Gaura Purnima, we can all once again be thankful in our hearts that we are getting this wonderful opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness, share Krishna consciousness, practice bhakti, share bhakti, study the Srimad Bhagavatam under the able guidance of the purports given by Srila Prabhupada, and continue in our spiritual endeavors for the ultimate pleasure of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Grantaraj ki jai.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the very, very beautiful class today. And it was very nice hearing to the dharma that we have to follow, what is Kaitava Dharma, what is our real dharma, and also how importance about the Grahastha life, how the Grahastha life is really successful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the a very important point in Krishna consciousness. And if there are any questions or comments, they can ask now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for a very beautiful class, Prabhuji. Wonderful instructions and a lot of practical learning for us, explaining what the Lord really is, starting from Asamodva and how we should see everything in this material world. And also the position of the wife in Grihastha Ashrama. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
I see Shobha Radhe raise the hand. She can ask the question now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the nice lecture. Very nice class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, actually, my question is usually we were discussing about praying and desires. So my question is like, if, for example, we are not clear, like what's gonna be in future, for example. So shall we pray to the Lord, keeping the bhakti in the center, that that we need this, or shall we just surrender Him and let Him do whatever He wants to do with us, using us as an instrument? Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Mataji, I think we lost Prabhuji again.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mataji. I'll wait.
Shama Gauri Mataji, please call him.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I'm calling Mataji. Yeah, Mataji, he's trying to connect. He's trying to connect. He's coming back. They have some internet issues today, but he's connecting back.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Okay, thank you, Dina Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Padma Sakhi Mataji. We are not done with the class, Mataji, yet.
Oh, okay, Mataji.
Can you wait for 5 minutes?
No, Mataji, I will wait. Dina Krishna was telling Amma they're calling you, so I came running.
Okay. No.
In the meantime, Padma Sakhi Gopi, can you please start?
Whatever Mataji says. Oh, the class is not done right, Mataji. Prabhuji, where is Prabhuji?
I think Prabhuji is back. He will connect again, but I don't know.
No, I think
Prabhuji is back.
He's there, Mataji. He's there. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I don't know, today some yakshas are not in favor of me talking, so we keep doing this to me. Yeah.
Yes.
Any questions? I would be happy.
Yes, Prabhuji. Shobha Mataji, Shobha Radhe Mataji, you can go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for very nice class, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, my question is, we were discussing about prayers and desires for like we should pray to the Supreme Lord. Prabhuji, my question is like if we pray to the Supreme Lord, like keeping our spiritual life in the center, for example, for any materialistic thing, for example, we are not clear about our future job or our future plannings or anything. So shall we keep Krishna and our spirituality in the center, and we pray that, oh Lord, if I get this job, please give me this job and I will serve you and the devotees and Vaishnavas. Or Prabhuji, we should totally surrender to the Lord. We should not pray at all like, I need this, I need that, so I will get this, so I will serve you. Or we should totally surrender. Actually, Prabhu, what I have heard from the lectures that we should totally surrender to the Lord, and we should pray like so that we can grow in bhakti. But some devotees, they have their point of view that we can pray to the Lord, we can ask for things, but we have to use them in spirituality. So I was a little bit confused here, Prabhuji. I hope you will help me out in this. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for that question. That is a very interesting question. That's a question that many people have. And the safest answer everybody would give is that, completely depend on Krishna, and, whatever happens for the best. Krishna knows what is best for us. That is actually like we say, the company policy, that surrender to Krishna, depend on Krishna completely, and Krishna knows what is good for us. Now, that is like for the what shall I say, the matured understanding. Once we develop all those things, that comes very naturally, to be able to surrender to Krishna. In the very initial stages, or in the what we call as the neophyte stage, which in my opinion we all are, see, the fact that sometimes you need a certain comfort level so that you can perform your devotional service nicely, some comfort zone is there so that you can, without, without getting too much bothered about what is going to happen tomorrow, I am able to perform my devotional service, To that, what actually happens is that there are ample number of examples in our Puranas itself. That if you are approaching Krishna with even a material desire, Krishna knows how to purify it. He may give, he may not give. That is up to Krishna. But in the process, he will purify us and bring us to a level of maturity where we would very factually and with full understanding, we will say, yes, Krishna, I know that this is what it is. So I am okay with it. But initially there is always this difficulty, that I have this overbearing thought in my mind that, and that is actually disturbing me from whatever little devotional service that I'm doing, because when something that big, or what I see as something very big, which is like my material situation, my job, tomorrow, what will I do for a living, when that becomes like the biggest thing in front of me, it is very easy to say that, forget about it and then, just depend on Krishna. Of course, we have to depend on Krishna. But then the other thing is like sitting like an elephant in the room, and you cannot ignore for, over a period of time. And then there is also so many compulsions that come from all quarters, Maybe the husband and wife are okay with the situation, but then the husband's parents, the wife's parents, the sisters, the brothers, we have this kind of, this whole rigmarole of a, bandwagon that comes along with us, whether we like it or not. And all those quarters will pile up the pressure, and they will say that because you started doing this, you started chanting this Hare Krishna, so your husband lost his job, you have this difficulty, and they will inject so much negativity into, people who are trying to do this. So it becomes a challenge to balance all these things. So what we should do is that one thing is whatever we are doing, we should stick on to that with full determination, and along with that we can, we can pray to Krishna that if it so pleases you, Krishna, please repair my material situation to the extent that I am able to perform my devotional service without becoming too disturbed. We are not like Sanatan Goswami, who sits under one tree today and another tree tomorrow and, offer 2 chapatis without even salt to Madan Mohan. We are not on that level. So we need not try to imitate Sanatan Goswami all of a sudden, But we know that that is where we are supposed to get. But then in our present situation, we should always fully depending on Krishna, at the same time praying to Krishna that please keep me, keep my situation in such a way that I will be able to continue my devotional service. So then Krishna chooses whether to give me a better material situation or whether to give me a worse material situation. That Krishna is the fully independent Lord. So he can decide and we can depend on that. So either way, it will remove that tension and the stress that we are having, So that's what I would suggest. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was totally up to the so satisfying answer. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
For the very beautiful question and answer session. So yeah, it's very clearly you said that we should actually mostly depend on Krishna, but when things are little repaired, so we can beg for his mercy to get things repaired so that we can continue the Krishna consciousness very nicely. So in this regard, I have one question, Prabhuji. So we have, it is clear in this case, like when we are praying for something, but when in case of when we are into some role, like as a mother, as a sister, as a wife, so like that, so we have some dharma. So in that, if such dharma and devotional service is coming in between, so which to prefer and how much to bend? Can you please suggest?
Mataji, that's also a very interesting question. That's also a very practical situation that all devotees face, which is, how much should I bend? We must always remember that our Krishna consciousness is the most precious thing in our life. If we are able to appreciate how precious this gift of Krishna consciousness that we have received, then keeping that in mind, we can make minor adjustments. One thing is that internally always remain very, very fixed in our Krishna consciousness. For some externalities, sometimes we may have to, as a sister, as a brother, some things may have to be done, and that does not mean that we antagonize the entire system and then show that I am Krishna conscious, so I will do all these things. So at that time, what we should remember is that we as devotees we are expected to show mercy to everyone. So sometimes we have to show some mercy on our own family members. So we have to accommodate them, but always keeping in mind that, I am not going to compromise on my Krishna consciousness. But then I will accommodate them in whatever way possible, because after all, they are my family. And another thing is that only by showing a good example that we will be even able to engage our extended family members and other people in Krishna consciousness, because it's always toughest, to engage our more near and dear ones than friends and acquaintances and new people, etc., etc. Because everybody has a history before, pre-Krishna conscious history, and then there is Krishna consciousness. So the closer ones are more familiar with the pre-Krishna conscious history, so they would always try to judge by that. So that is actually very challenging. So what we should do is that, yes, they are family. They also should be recipient of Prabhupada's mercy. So by engaging them favorably, by always being positive with them, we can maintain our own Krishna consciousness. At the same time, in whatever little way possible, if they can be engaged, and some things, some bendings may be required to keep them also happy. But at the end of the day, the subtle message that should go through is that I am not going to compromise my Krishna consciousness for whatever reason it may be. As long as that messaging is going out in a subtle manner, then that is quite okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that beautiful answer. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I request if any devotees have any comments or questions, they can ask now. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, we can end the call here. We will thank Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu danam pavanyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Vaishnav Vrinda. Praise Govardhan Giri Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your valuable time and association today. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and my apologies for getting disconnected.
Yes.
So
That's
thank
okay,
you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you
That's
for the
okay,
opportunity.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandvat, Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna. Koti Dandavat, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Now we will have Navadvip Mandal Parikrama by Her Grace Padma Sakhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Padma Sakhi.
You're in mute.
Mataji.
Oh, sorry, Mataji. I was saying we missed yesterday, so we will see the fifth island today, Navadvip. But before we start, we will take the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Panchatattva, Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and all the acharyas and all the assembled devotees, so that we'll be able to do our parikrama in a very, very humble mode. So today is Koladvip, and this is very, very interesting and very, very important also. Like the present days Navadvip, the railway station and everything are present in the Koladvip. So we started here, Antardvip, then Simantadvip, then Godrimadvip, Madhyadvip, and today we are in Koladvip. We have 4 more. So Koladvip represents Pada Sevanam. And if you remember in Madhyadvip, with the last one we have seen was Panchaveni, the 3 streams of Ganga and 2 holy rivers meeting together. So after that we enter Koladvip, and this is the place where, if you remember the first introduction session, we have seen that Lord appeared, like all the yugas, Lord appeared here in Navadvip. So he appeared in Koladvip also as a boar, Varaha avatar. So this is all written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Navadvip Mandal Parikrama Mahatmya. So this Tirtha is rarely attained by Devas, and it's transcendental to this material nature. This place is known as Kuliya Pahada and is considered great amongst the places of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, O Koladvip, kindly bless this most insignificant person and allow me to reside in Navadvip in association of devotees. Allow me to enter into the pastimes of Sri Gauranga, who is my Lord, life after life. So this is what he has written, and now we'll see the appearance of Varahadev. So on the bank of Ganga, there is one area called Kuliya Pahada. Then this mountain, we can't see it anymore. It's no longer visible. So in Satya Yuga, there was a Brahmana by name Vasudeva. He was living here. And he loves Varahadev so much, and is always meditating on his pastime, and is always meditating on him. Then he was thinking that, oh, my Lord is not giving me darshan, then why? My life is useless. Is not giving me darshan. And thinking like that, every day he used to think like that. And one day the Lord actually appeared as boar. Boar is Kola. So he appeared in the boar form, and he was so huge. There was a lot of jewelry, and was huge like a mountain. And as soon as he saw Varahadev, Vasudev, he did the dandavats, he did the obeisances. Then and he rolled on the ground. He was getting so ecstatic. Then Lord picked him up, and Lord, in a sweet voice, he said, do not worry, I will tell you, I'll tell you this. He basically said this secret. He said that in the whole 3 worlds, nothing is equal to Navadvip, and this is my dearest dham, and it is kept as a secret. When Kali Yuga comes, my manifested, then he will say, like in Kali Yuga, I will come in this Navadvip. And he said, this is the place where I appeared. When Brahma did the fire sacrifice, this is the place where I appeared and killed Hiranyaksha by piercing him with my teeth. So he said, again you will come back when I come in Navadvip, then you will be participating in my pastimes. Then Vasudeva, he understood that he's going to come in the Vaivashvata Manvantara, and he began chanting Gauranga's name continuously. And because he saw the Lord's body as a mountain, and he appeared as the Kola, this place from that time is called as Koladvip mountain. And this place is not like it's equal to Giri Govardhan. It's a mountain, and this basically because the Lord's body is like a mountain. This is called when he appeared. This is called as a mountain, Koladvip mountain. So that is about Varahadev appearance, and this is the Lord. If you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hands are like this, so we will see that shortly. So this is called Dameshwara Mahaprabhu's temple. The particular deity which we are seeing on the screen, this was worshipped by Vishnu Priya Devi. After Lakshmi Priya left her body, she finished her pastimes here. Then we know that Mahaprabhu married Vishnu Priya. So almost 80 years she worshipped this particular deity that we are seeing. When she was 16, Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and she was alive up until she's 96. So for 80 years she worshipped this deity. And after, we know how Vishnu Priya Devi, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, she would keep 2 pots, and she would chant and put 1 grain for every round. And after she finished, she would cook that and eat. So after she worshipped, then there is Vamsi Vadanananda Acharya. It is said that during like when Vamsivadanananda was born, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were present there. I heard it, I read it in some article of ISKCON Desiratory. And Vamsivadananandacharya, he was, after Lord took sannyas, he was there as a guardian to, not guardian, like he was there at Vishnupriya Devi and Sachimata's house. He would just, be as a helper. He would stay there. So he, after Vishnupriya Devi left this world, then he took the deity and he established the worship at Kulia Paharpur. Initially, Kulia was a separate village, and this Paharpur, they were all beside, like they were locating two villages beside each other. But later it became as one, as Kulia Paharpur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the son-in-law of this place. So even till date, they take care of him as how we take care of a son-in-law. So here in this, now we will see, like if you see Mahaprabhu's hands are like this, sometimes they are like this, sometimes they are like this. So when one hand is up and one hand is down, that means they are in a dancing mode. And when two hands are raised, that means they are asking the devotees, to surrender. Like they're asking the devotees to surrender. And when the hands are like this, that means Lord is saying, please, I'm ready to accept you, come, like that. So this deity is so merciful. He's saying like, I come, I will accept you, please come. So in this temple, we have Mahaprabhu's wooden shoes also. This is the entrance, and these are the padukas. We'll take blessings. And if you see this, in this temple at Navadvip, on the appearance day of Vishnu Priya, they will dress Mahaprabhu in like Vishnu Priya Devi in sari, like in that mood, like he's in that mood of Vishnu Priya that day. So they will. This is the beautiful picture, very beautiful. Special darshan on appearance day of Mother Vishnu Priya. So actually what happened to this deity initially, this deity was lost. Then the deity worship was lost, not the deity worship was lost. But then what happened, and at that time the king, there was king called Krishna Chandra, and we all know even till day how the Durga Puja and Kali is worshipped so much in Bengal. Many times I have some devotee friends from Bengal, and they say that after coming to Krishna consciousness, after getting initiated also, for them still Durga Puja is something very special, because from childhood, like they're ardently stuck on to that. So I see some devotees still on that day they worship. So then King Krishna Chandra, he was a great and ardent devotee of Durga, and he established lot of all Durga worship everywhere. Then what happened, they were worried that they would, the worshippers of Mahaprabhu, pujaris, they were all thinking that maybe, they will destroy the deity, and they dug the ground and they kept the deity there under the ground. Then what happened, meanwhile, the king of Manipur, Bharat Chandra or Bhagya Chandra, he got a dream, saying that, all that the priests have dug a hole and they kept the deity under it, and how the King Krishna Chandra was always, into Durga worship and not allowing the Vaishnavas to do the worship of other deities. Then meanwhile, then there is another devotee from South India who went to Vrindavan, and he was doing his bhajan there. So he's called Totaram Das. Even he got a dream, and what happened? So Totaram started all the way to King Krishna Chandra, and he started preaching, and he started explaining how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's deity, because King was not accepting when they say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he came as a normal devotee. Then Totaram Das put all the argument. He started, explaining to the king. So the king, meanwhile, he was so much convinced that Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then he only donated this land. And when the priest understood that there is no more danger for the deity, they took the deity out, and then they started establishing the worship here. So all these things, they are in the records, how it happened. Like for Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he saw all the records of previous years, and that's how all the information was gathered. That's about this. And then, if you remember, we have seen initially, we have spoken about this, that how Maya Devi is present in Vrindavan as Paurnamasi, and here in Mayapur, she's there as Prauda Maya. So that temple is also here, and this is a very, very, you can't see that this is basically the face of Prauda Maya, and lot of flowers are there, so we cannot see. See, if you see this, the temple is inside the hollow of a banyan tree, and if you see, this is the temple actually, and this is the entrance. And the what do we call the roots are hanging, right? So they form like a maze, like, you know, knotted, like a real maze around the temple. If you see here on the top, we will see that in the video also. And there is a Vriddha Shiva also here. Very see, this is a long shot view of the Prauda Maya temple, and this is the Shiva deity. And actually, it is said, I read in one Mayapur article, that the devotees would not wish to enter here, because sometimes they do even like they worship this, they do the animal sacrifice and kind of stuff here. So they mentioned it that they might not, the devotees might actually not enter sometimes. So then, so Riddha Shiva is there here because of the, he's a Kshetrapalak, he's there here. Before, this temple was there in between the Mayapur ISKCON temple and Yoga Peeth, but during floods, it got lost. The temple got destroyed. So that's why they brought here, and then they started worshipping inside the banyan tree. Then we will go to Gaur Kishore Jagannath Das Babaji Samadhi Mandir. So this is the entrance, and as we enter, we will go to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Samadhi Mandir, and this is, and we know how. See, this is the original picture of. Let me zoom it. See, this is the original picture of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj.
Mataji, is it possible to make it big?
Big? Mataji, let me see. I think I'll zoom. Wait. Can you see?
Okay, yeah, Mataji. Thank you.
Oh, when I do like this, it's not coming, Mataji.
Yeah, you can make the full screen, Mataji.
Yeah, you can see.
So this is in. We'll take blessings of Jagannath Das. And accidentally, somehow I found it somewhere. I thought it will be nice if we all can see. So we know how Jagannath Das Babaji, he was actually staying at Surya Kund in Vrindavan, and later he moved to Navadvip. And we know how in 1893, that is when Bhakti Vinod Thakur took him on a basket, and that time he was blind. His body was so emaciated, we saw in the picture, but still when he saw all the Tulasi Manjaris there, and he was so excited and ecstatic, he was dancing. In the picture you can see where he was ecstatic and dancing, and he said, oh, this is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. This is the place. So 1893 he found, and in the Samadhi Mandir we will see these deities which were worshipped by Jagannath Das Babaji. Gaur Gopal deities and Giridhari deities are here, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur said that he is the Vaishnava Sarvabhauma, the chief of Vaishnavas, is most advanced Rasika Vaishnava. And here we can pray because he's a personification of renunciation to material attachment. So we can pray to get that mood to here. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. And then we will go to Samudragar. I think it's 9, so we will quickly see. So one time what happens was, after Yudhishthir Maharaj, the Pandava, Yudhishthir Maharaj became the king. Then, so every place they were going, and I think Bhimasena. Bhimasena was going, so he's collecting taxes, and he is. So if the king gives taxes, that means he is accepting Yudhishthir Maharaj as the king. Otherwise, they have to do a battle. So then King Samudrasena, he loves Krishna and he wants to have the darshan of Krishna. Then what happened? He wanted to have Mataji. So Samudragar, then what happened? So then he was thinking, how will I get darshan of Krishna? Then he thought, okay, when Bhimasena comes, what will I do? I will start retaliating rather than paying. Then when I fight with Bhimasena, the Lord always protects Pandavas. So then Krishna will appear to protect the Pandavas. So then I can see Krishna. So what will he do? He will start fighting with Bhima, and Bhima is losing like lot of chariots, so much of soldiers, there's lot of fighting. Then Bhima said, oh Krishna, please save me. If I lose, then it will be like a shame. No, please, please. Then Krishna will appear, and only Samudrasen was able to see. Then Samudrasen was so ecstatic, he's falling down, getting up, like then nobody was understanding what was happening to him. Then after he saw Krishna's darshan, he didn't even fight. Then Bhima thought, what happened? He was about to fight, and suddenly maybe he got scared of us. That's why he stopped fighting. So that's how at this place, Samudrasen got the darshan of Krishna. And this is the place where ocean comes and meets Ganga, because the ocean always says that, oh Ganga, oh Jahnavi, you're so fortunate. You're able to see Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastime staying here. I am not able to, see. Then Ganga will say, no. When Lord comes to Nilachal Dham, he will see you. You will see him. Then ocean will say, no. When he comes, I will see him like, unshaved hair. I will see him as a sannyas. My heart will pain seeing him like that. I want to see Lord in that beautiful form, that curly hair. So what will happen? The ocean will take shelter of Ganga, and this is the place, Ganga and the Sagara. This is called Ganga Sagara also. Ganga and the ocean, they meet at this point. So one time Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter, and he said, do not rush. You're busy with a very important thing. You're organizing a preaching center in Hawaii. I hope you manage to turn him into new Navadvip Dham. There is Samudragar railway station in Navadvip, and it is said that once there was an ocean. And if you install new Navadvip on the shores of Pacific Ocean, it will be a great achievement. So at Hawaii, Prabhupada also wrote this about Samudragar. He mentioned in one of his letters. And one time ocean got a darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting on the bank of Ganga. He was sitting in the center, and there were Panchatattvas sitting around him with his associates. So the ocean got darshan here of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the last place is called Champahati. I didn't write the title. So this place is equal to Khadiravan. So this is in the south of Kolatveep. And it's called Champahati because once upon a time there were a lot of champak flowers growing here so beautifully, and Champak Lata Devi, the gopi, she used to come pluck the champak flowers and make garlands and offer to Radha and Krishna. But in Kali Yuga, this place became the hatta of champak, marketplace of selling champaka flowers. So that's why it's called Champahati. Champaka Hatta, it became Champahati, the marketplace of champak flowers. Once the river Mansi Ganga also flowed here, separating Koladvip and Ritudvip. So at this place in Satya, as I said, Satya Yuga, champak groves are there, and there lived an old Brahmana, and every day he would worship his Radha Govinda deities with the champak flowers. And satisfied with his worship, what happened? The Lord appeared in the form of Gaura Sundar, and when he appeared like that the complexion of what was that? The complexion of, if you see the champak flowers complexion, see how is it golden yellowish color? So he appeared like that. And he told that Brahmana that you are going to appear in my next incarnation while I come in Kali Yuga. You are going to come as a younger brother of Gadadhar Pandit as Vaninatha Vipra. So that pastime also happened here. So since then, these deities have been standing here. So who is Vaninath Vipra? He is Kamalaka Sakhi. So these are the deities there. Gauranga and Gadadhar. Gaura, Gadadhar deities are here. So these deities are here, and it is known that when Nityananda Prabhu did the Parikrama, he came to this place of Vaninath's house and he stayed there. As we discussed, Vaninath is the brother of Gadadhar Pandit, and Vaninath also joined. He also joined the Parikrama. So these are the deities, and this is the temple. If you enter, we'll see that. And at this place, Champahatti, what happened was, one more interesting thing happened. I think I don't have a picture. Okay. So if you know Jaydev Goswami, who wrote the Dashavatar Stotra, so he also stayed here at Mayapur. And what happened was, when he was staying here, he wrote the Dashavatar Stotra, and somehow that reached the king, and king fell in love with this poetry, and he asked his minister who wrote this, and his minister was Govardhan Acharya, and he said, so and so Jaydev Goswami, he stays at this place. He stays in Navadvip. Then king comes dressed as a Vaishnava, and he will see Jaydev Goswami. Then Jaydev Goswami understands that he's none other than king. Then he says, oh, I cannot talk with the rich people, and I cannot stay here because you came to know my place and you'll keep visiting. So I don't want to stay here. I will leave this place. Then the king will request, saying that, no, please, if you don't want to stay here, don't leave this place, but please stay on the other side. And then king and Jaydev Goswami also will say that, okay, though you are king and you're very rich, still you are a great devotee. This shows how simple you are. So I'm okay if you come and meet me also. You come and meet me secretly. You can meet me. And if you remember, when he's writing, Jaydev Goswami wrote his Gita Govinda. He was writing while he was writing, he mentions that Radharani was angry with Krishna, and he wanted to write that Krishna, touched the feet of Radharani, and he asked for sorry, and he was hesitating to write it or not. Then he will say, okay, I will go take bath and come to his wife, and he will go. When he goes to take bath, he will come back, he will have lunch, and then he will go to the room. And again, he will, suddenly to his wife, Jaydev Goswami will come and he will say, can you feed lunch? Then the wife gets so confused, and he will ask, what has happened? She will say, you just came, you had prasad, and you went inside your room. Suddenly, what happened? Again, when did you go? Then he will not understand. He will go to the room and he will see what he wanted to write, they were written on his book. Then he will understand it was none other than Krishna who came and he wrote. So that pastime also happened here. When he was staying with his wife at this place. Then afterwards, the Lord appears in front of them in the golden complexion, and both Jaydev Goswami and his wife faints, and he will fall down. Lord will pick them and he will say, I'm very pleased with you. Now please go to Nilachal. Then they will feel very, very sad. Like, we don't want to leave this place. You're asking us to leave. Then Lord says, I like your Geet Govinda so much. When you come there, I am also coming there very soon. So, I will listen to you. You can be there with me. But once you leave your bodies, you're eternally staying in Navadvip. So don't worry. Saying that, the Lord will leave. Then following his instructions, Jaydev Goswami with his wife, he will go to Nilachal. So all that happened at this place. Then the last place is Devananda Gaudiya Mutt. So these are the deities. Radha Vinod Bihar is there. This is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgave Devananda Pandit. If you know, I think Devananda Pandit, if I remember, he was not accepting Vaishnavism, and he was criticizing. But later he understands that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a supreme personality of God, and how wonderful the Lord is. And then at this particular place, he will ask for forgiveness. Devananda Gaudiya Mutt. So these are the places in Koladvip. If we have time, quickly we can see the video. Is it okay, Mataji? Is it okay to share the video?